Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10 is crews clean up from one hurricane in Puerto Rico and Canada. Florida bracing for another one. We'll tell you how Connecticut's helping respond to Fiona and Ian.
Also, a new report shows overall crime is down in our state, but homicides are on the rise. We're going to tell you what Hartford is doing to try and stop the violence.
Christmas presents are looking better now. The gas prices are going lower.
And gas prices across Connecticut are down nearly 60 cents over the last month. Find out if you'll have to pay more or even less when the holidays come. But we do begin tonight tracking Hurricane Ian as crews from Connecticut prepare to help Florida after this storm. Here's a look at the latest information about Ian tonight from our Weather Watch Center. It's now a Category 2 hurricane as it passes by western Cuba overnight. Good evening, I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. Thank you so much for joining us. As Florida braces for Hurricane Ian, Connecticut crews are on their way to help. It's a very busy time, though, for volunteers who are also assisting Hurricane Fiona victims in Puerto Rico and Canada. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joins us live outside of the Red Cross headquarters in Farmington tonight. Gabby, what are they planning to do to help in Florida?
Well, Jen and Ben, the Red Cross is one of the groups that is already sending volunteers down to Florida ahead of the storm. Hurricane season, a really busy time for them as they need to be ready to go wherever they're needed. As Hurricane Ian gets closer to Florida, people from Connecticut are ready to help.
Right now, it is expected for this storm to be quite devastating, and we're happy and proud of our Red Cross volunteers here in Connecticut that are stepping up to help our friends in Florida.
The volunteers from Connecticut will join others in helping to provide sheltering efforts, and the Red Cross is ready to ramp up those efforts if needed.
Not only are we pre-positioning volunteers, but also supplies, and we will continue to evaluate our efforts as the storm arrives and what may look like after that.
This comes as the organization already has a presence in Puerto Rico following the devastation caused by Hurricane Fiona.
A lot of rivers just overflowed and created a lot of damage.
Yvette Gonzalez of Bridgeport returned home Monday from Puerto Rico. She said the island is still in a place where it needs aid.
Although they say 50% of the island has light and water, it's the metropolitan area. The rural areas are still without water, without light.
As the hurricane made its way north, it also caused damage in Nova Scotia, where United Illuminating crews from Connecticut are now helping out.
Nova Scotia was impacted with about 70% of their customers being interrupted. On Saturday night, we got a call that they needed help, so we mobilized 50 line workers to go and support their efforts.
Hurricane season putting crews in a position where they need to be ready for anything. They go where they're needed and can pull back if needed back home.
We're always watching the weather. We need to be proactive in assessing the weather and what's coming at us, and making sure that we're early in requesting the resources that we might need to respond. So we're keeping a close eye on that, and we'll get our crews back if we need them to support Connecticut outages.
Those UI crews are expected to be in Canada until the end of this week. Live in Farmington, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
A lot of help will be needed. All right, Gabby, thank you.
All right, we want to get a check on our forecast, and we do know that meteorologist Ryan Breton is monitoring the hurricane right now and its potential impact on us.
Hi, Jen and Ben. Yeah, the hurricane is strengthening tonight. We're actually going to get a new update in about 50 minutes or an hour. So we'll have an update on the statistics of the storm, which right now, as of 8 o'clock, we're 100 miles per hour. But there also will be a new track that comes out at that point. And some of the data I've seen this evening is creeping even closer to the west coast of Florida. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little while. But we had some weather of our own tonight. A line of some storms just randomly popped up over the middle of the state. A great view here from Monroe. Thanks to Chris for that. And how about this shelf cloud in Stafford, too, with the rain falling underneath it. Here's a look at that on the radar. You can see what flared up right around 6 o'clock this evening. But most of that action has now ended, and the sky for the rest of the night will just be partly to mostly cloudy. We will start tomorrow morning with some clouds, so a bit of a gray start the first few hours of the morning. Then the afternoon is sunny and pleasant with highs tomorrow in the low 70s. Much more on Ian, any potential impacts it could bring us, and the forecast for the rest of the week all coming up.
See you in a bit, Ryan. Thank you. Meanwhile, new at 10 tonight, a person was airlifted after a car crashed into a tree in Wyndham. State police say it happened on South Wyndham Road just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. The person was described as conscious and alert when taken by a Lifestar helicopter to the hospital. Stay with us here at Fox 61 for updates on this on air, online, and on the free Fox 61 News app.
Well, tonight, Glastonbury and Colchester are mourning after 2 teens were killed in a crash last night. Police say 18-year-old Gordon Mack Southby of Glastonbury and 15-year-old Andra Spencer of Colchester died on Hebron Avenue near the Route 2 East on-ramp in Glastonbury. Southby was a senior at Glastonbury High School and was driving a motorcycle. Spencer was a student at Bacon Academy and was in an SUV. Counselors will be available for students at both schools. 4 people also died in a crash at that very same spot back in 2002. Well, new at 10, new crime stats show a slight decrease in overall crime across Connecticut. But despite that, some crimes are still on the rise in our state.
Like homicides, more homicides and sexual assaults in Connecticut last year. This comes as Hartford's on track for a more deadly year in 2022. Fox 61's Alicia Machado joining us live in Hartford tonight to tell us about the latest efforts to stop violence in the capital city. Alicia?
Yeah, well, this evening, faith-based community organizations and police walked through some of the hardest hit communities in Hartford's North End. Their goal today is to build connections that help create safer communities. Through the rain, police, church leaders, and residents walking in the streets together.
We ask you, Father God, for violence to stop, God.
Praying for Hartford communities hit the hardest by violence.
As we stand right here in this place, where many families have experienced brokenness, grief, and despair, we call upon you right now to restore hope to this community.
It's part of the 2022 National Faith in Blue Weekend, encouraging partnerships between law enforcement, faith-based organizations, and local residents to build safer and stronger communities. This year, there have been 28 homicides in Hartford, surpassing last year's rate of 27 homicides around this time. In 2021, 34 homicides in the capital city in total. Murder is up nationwide and in Connecticut. New data from the state indicates there were 3 more murders in 2021 than 2020.
Especially with all the crime that we've been having in the last, from the beginning of the year, we're looking to, express hope, love, unity, but also in partnership with public safety, knowing and sharing with the community that they are here to help.
The group walked down Mather Street and Albany Avenue, among other streets in the North End, an area of the capital city struggling with gun violence. In April, a 33-year-old man killed and 3 others injured in a shooting on Mather and Bedford, according to police. And in July, police say a woman in her 20s was shot on Albany Avenue. With flyers in hand,
Chance for people to come out and meet some of the police officers.
They're spreading the word about an event at New Life Worship Center on Sunday, October 9th, highlighting the partnership. A chance for neighbors to meet officers, enjoy free food, and access community resources.
It reaches the people who need it the most to help us with solving crime, with preventing crime.
The group will hold another anti-violence walk next Monday at 5:30, this time walking through the South End, and they'll meet on Wethersfield Avenue. We're live in Hartford tonight. Alicia Machado, Fox 61 News.
Alicia, thank you. Well, tomorrow, the defamation trial of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will continue in Waterbury. The InfoWars host appeared in court Friday but did not testify. His attorney chose not to cross-examine him, and without another witness to call, the jury was dismissed early. Jones is not expected to testify tomorrow, but is expected to take the stand again later this week. Well, it's hard to not notice how much gas prices have dropped over the last few months after hitting record highs in June.
One Quinnipiac University professor says one factor that could decide if gas prices will stay low is how cold our winter weather is. Fox 61's Tony Black joining us live in studio tonight with what we can expect in the coming months. Tony?
Yeah, Ben and Jen, the average gallon of gas here in Connecticut is about $3.30. That's down about 60 cents from a month ago. There are many gas stations here in the state offering prices with a 2 in front of that. So why is that, and is it going to stay?
It's one of those times you feel lucky to live in Connecticut.
There are twos, and more twos along the Berlin Turnpike. The price to fill up at the gas station is dropping below $3 in many parts of Connecticut for the first time in months.
My paycheck goes a little bit further. By the end of the week, it gets better.
The average cost of gas in Connecticut is $3.34, down a penny from Sunday and 11 cents from a week ago. Quinnipiac University international business professor Mohammed Alihi says there are many reasons for this.
There was a fear of a global shortage, which did not really materialize, despite U.S. sanctions on Russia.
He says it's all about supply and demand. AAA also says the less expensive winter blend has returned to the pumps. The average gas price peaked in June in the midst of the summer travel season at almost $5. Now the season is over and people are driving less.
It also depends on the severity of the winter.
If it's a colder winter and home heating oil is in high demand, there will be less to produce gas, meaning the price could go up again. Drivers say the lower prices now will definitely give them more spending cash in the next couple of months.
Christmas presents are looking better now. The gas prices are going lower.
The Connecticut 25-cent gas tax suspension is set to end on November 30th. One question I heard a lot from drivers was, how will the price change after the election? Alahi says that actually does impact what you pay.
When the gas price is high, voters are not happy. And when the voters are not happy, the party in power usually suffers.
AAA says Hurricane Ian may also increase the price as the storm heads for the states. You heard that one driver say she feels lucky to live here in Connecticut right now. That's because our average gas price is the cheapest in New England. Our neighbors to the north are paying at least 20 cents more than us. In the newsroom, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.